Finally got the 1911 up and running, got it fixed, got the slide milled, and got it Cerakoted. So let's talk about it. In the video I did where it was first shots fired, I realized I took the barrel out of spec when I was contouring feed ramp on the frame and the feed wrap on the barrel. And what happened was I accidentally took the chamber just fractions of an inch out of spec, so the chamber's no longer supported. So I had a couple of options. I couldn't just buy another barrel because the feed ramp of the frame would have hit underneath a new barrel like this and I would have got jams. I got in touch with 1911 builders and I was like, look dude, I jacked the barrel up. I don't mind buying another one to pay for my mistake. I'm not gonna ask someone to send me a barrel. Like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, but I'm out of ramped 45 ACP barrels right now. They'll be back in stock in about a month. I took the frame and the slide to Carl at Legion Precision. And for those of you guys who aren't aware, he works with Southwest Precision, who does machine work. So Southwest Precision cut my frame to accept the barrel. And then Carl painted it, this beautiful gray and black. I love it. I mean, it's not completely finished yet, but I'm gonna order a couple, like 3 pins that are black. That way it matches. And I got some grips and mag welds, stuff like that coming in. So let's dive up close, take a look at it, and I can show you what MKP Arms did to it. I can show you what Southwest Precision did to the frame, and we can talk about everything that goes on with this build right here. All right, the 1911 has officially been brought back from the dead. Just want to give you guys a quick shout out to Gun Fu, man. They sent me all these cool t-shirts and patches. Really cool guys. They didn't ask for a shout out, but I felt compelled to give them one just because they're such great guys. Also got PewTuber patches available. Link will be down below, guys. These are all these orders from my t-shirts and patches. They're all fulfilled by Onyx Armory. They're formerly known as Pacific Northwest Tactical. I don't handle orders with these guys. They take care of all of that. So if you're emailing me about questions, I may or may not be able to help you. So on to the 1911. You know, as I said earlier, if you looked at my last video where I fired it, it was running reliably, but I accidentally took the gun out of spec. Before we take it apart, the slide has been milled by MKP Arms here. And what I had him do was square it off on the edges here. I wanted that very angular design language to it. I don't like the roundedness of, I don't like 1911 slides that are round. I like slides that are very jagged and geometric. So he flattened the top, he flattened the edges here, and then he added some tiny little ports right here on the top. Not that they were necessary, he just went ahead and added them. Now, originally, I was gonna go a lot more extreme with this, you know, and make it more like these, you know what I mean, with the windows and everything. But MKP, he said, dude, I kind of feel like it would ruin this. Now, in the future, if I get one with a tactical rail on the front, I'll probably go more extreme with it. But this has a very sleek look to it, kind of. You know, I hate to say it like this, but it's very John Wick-esque, pretty legit. So then I had Carl at Legion Precision Cerakote this. Now, he Cerakoted the frame in a really nice dark gray. I don't remember the name of the gray, you'll have to ask him. But I'll put a link below to where you can go to Legion Precision's website and get some quotes about his Cerakote work. I have it where it's blended all together when it's compressed here. So very nice. I'm gonna get some black pins to put in here, just so they can match this pin and this pin. The trigger, as you can see, the Cerakote is wearing off of this trigger. And it doesn't really affect, it doesn't bother me because I'm probably gonna replace this trigger with a flat trigger that doesn't have holes in it, and I'm gonna just get a black one. You know, that's how I'm gonna do that. Because I like flat triggers and I wanna get one that's flat. I still need to go inside and tweak and adjust this trigger, but here's the take up, and then here's the break. And then here is the reset. On the barrel, you'll notice that the barrel is no longer titanium nitrided. I got a stainless steel one just in case I needed to sand and stuff like that on this barrel to make it fit. And I'm glad I did, because I did have to use some sandpaper to make it fit into this barrel bushing right here. And now it's running great. So let's take it apart so that you guys can see what I did with this. Now for my 1911 tool, I use this Real Avid bench block, and I love this bench block because it's magnetic. So when you punch your pins out, they stick to the bottom. Definitely dig that. But what's better about it, what I love about it, is what's inside here. you got the 1911 barrel bushing tool. And it's very simple. You simply, that's it. So much easier. All right, let's take this pig apart. So this is a ramped barrel right here, and you can see the ramp, which I polished. So here's the standard 1911 barrel, and there's the ramped. All of your 9mm 1911s have a ramped barrel. It's not the traditional way that they're made. It was right here in this slot where it's been cut out. And so before, when this barrel set in here, there was metal right underneath it, right here. And what I did was I changed the angle of it too steep, and so I couldn't use this type of barrel anymore. Now, I could have had it milled out just like this and added a steel insert that would work with this, but then I'm stuck with trying to get the angles right again. So instead, I went with the ramped barrel. So I could have either started over on a new frame and a new barrel, or I could have cut it and put a ramp insert to use with these kinds of barrels. But this was just the cheaper and easiest option here. And right off the bat, the moment I got this gun back, I tested it with a full mag, and all I did was cycled the mag, you know, just yank the slide, and it fed and ejected every single bullet, which wasn't the case when I was working with this barrel and trying to get everything working. So when I got this frame and slide and everything back from Carl at Legion Precision, obviously all the rails were painted up in here, and I just simply went over it with sandpaper, got all the paint out of these rails, underside, on top, took a little bit off this ejector here, even went down into here a little bit, all down in here. I had to take all this paint off so this slide would function. Then on the slide, obviously when you get stuff Cerakoted, the entire slide and everything is coated. I sanded all this paint here off, down in these grooves here as much as possible. Then along this portion here, inside these rails, all the paint's been removed for the most part, and it will continue to be removed as I shoot this gun. And then I went down in here to where the barrel lugs lock in, scraped out as much as I possibly could. Then I went down in here, scraped a lot out, down in here, and down in here, scraped a lot out. With this barrel, you'll notice a difference here from the old barrel. So you're gonna notice this little line right here where the barrel gets a little bit fatter, and on this one, that line is not present. So because of that, when this barrel comes back from being cycled, it's gonna give you good lockup, but it was a little bit too fat for this barrel bushing. So what I did was I went inside the barrel bushing, and I used a Dremel and sandpaper and polishing wheels, and I made it super slick. Then I went over this barrel, sandpaper. I didn't use files, but I did use a lot of like 250 grit sandpaper, and then I polished it with a Dremel and made it smooth as a baby's butt. So I didn't even have to really remove material from the barrel. I just had to make it super slick. So let's put it together real quick. We're gonna talk about it. Now, obviously, guys, we're gonna have more videos coming on this 1911 because I wanna see how reliable I can make it. I'll put a little bit of lubrication on here. This is Shooter Lube. I've been using this for a couple months. It's a 2-stage system, works great. You know, it's oil. I don't overcomplicate it. But if you're interested in trying it, I'll have a coupon code and a link below for you. But I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil on the hood. Take that oil. Now with 1911s, you know, obviously you run them pretty wet. And if you're building it and you're trying to get it to function, you're gonna run it even wetter than you typically would. Put it back together. So before it was catching, like right here, when it would cycle, and now it goes home every single time, and no more stovepipes, no more malfunctions. Back up top. So I went out to the desert a couple times. I've fired approximately 50 rounds through here since I've picked it up from Carl. The first 25 rounds, I was getting stovepipes. Now that's not because it's 1911, that's because I was wearing paint off of it. But so far, you know, after those first 25 rounds, it started running reliably. Started feeding every single round, started locking back every single time, and the stovepipes were eliminated. So far, so good. Now, obviously, I need to put more rounds through it. We're gonna do a reliability test. I think I got another 150 or 200 rounds from Fiocchi to run through it, and then I got another 100 rounds from LAX ammo to run through it. So that way, we're gonna see, you know, how this guy functions over time. If you're gonna do your very first 1911 build, this is what I recommend. And this is just me. Now, take it as a grain of salt, guys, because I'm not an expert. I can just, give you advice based on my own experience. I can't give you just like dogma type advice. If I was gonna do this build all over again, obviously I would have got a frame with a rail. That's a different story. I love the aluminum frame. The aluminum frame is super lightweight compared to the steel frames. I mean, it's a lot lighter. However, there are inherent flaws with aluminum in general. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm kind of glad I messed the barrel up. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, everybody's experiences are different, but from other 1911 builders that I've spoken with the aluminum frames, if you're using the ramp that's in the frame, over time when those rounds hit it can actually bend it and gouge it over time because aluminum's softer. So if I was gonna do this all over again, I would get the aluminum frame that's cut for a ramp barrel and get it with a ramp barrel. That's what I would do. It would just save you so much time and headache as opposed to doing it the standard way. Now I understand I'm gonna piss off a lot of 1911 purists because I'm not a purist. I really don't care. I do things the way I want to, regardless of what people think. So a couple of other people commented on some of my other 1911 videos on, oh my God, dude, that's $1,000 kit without the tools. Why would you spend the money? They don't use MIM parts or MIM. MIM stands for metal injection molding. What they do is they take finely powdered metal and they mix it with a binder material to make bar stock. That type of material doesn't hold up very well. Think a particle board, but with metal. A lot of companies, and I don't know which ones or which ones don't, but a lot of companies that make 1911 parts use MIM materials. You've all seen particle board, right? Like over time, it will break and then it frays out everywhere. That's why I went with 1911 builders, because they don't use that. And that's why the kits are $1,000 minus the tools, because they're using quality steel, quality aluminum, things like that. And I might even try some of the cheaper kits in the future just to do a compare and contrast. But that's why I went with 1911 builders. So there's the answer to that. Yes, can you buy a 1911 for cheaper than you can build it? Absolutely you can. Can you build one cheaper than this? Absolutely you can. There will be some sacrifices either way. So let me know if you guys have any questions, guys. I'm definitely digging this build, right? Should I get the barrel and guide rod titanium nitrided? Let me know down in the comments section below. And I'm thinking I might just keep it the way it is, but let me know what you guys think. And until next time, you guys stay sexy, and we'll have more videos coming on the 1911 in the very near future.